Committee Room 29, sound. 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 Committee Room 21, sound. Committee Room 21, sound. Committee Room 21, sound. Committee Room 21, signed. 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 Committee Room 21. 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 Signed. Committee Room 21, 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 signed. Committee Room 21. 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 Sound. 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 Committee Room 21. Sound.
Okay, members and those in the public gallery, they're welcome to use mobile devices. If they're in airplane mode, and all devices should be muted. It's not permissible to take photographs or record any part of the meeting in this room. Agenda item 1, apologies. Are you aware of any apologies, Clerk? No? No. Okay, thank you. Declarations of interest. I remind you of your responsibility to declare any interest in any of the items under discussion today. And do any of the members have any interest to declare in relation to any of today's agenda items?
ANC.
Declan, ANC, yes, thank you. Anything else? Nope. Yes, John?
My bill is listed today.
Okay.
Private members' bill on
Brilliant, John.
dogs.
Thank you. Okay. Agenda item 3, Chairperson's Business. Item number 1. I would firstly like to thank members for contributing to the joint concurrent meeting with the Committee for Infrastructure on Tuesday morning, where we took evidence from NI Water regarding water pollution in Lough Neagh and also from the Planning Statutory Consultation Forum on planning issues. From my perspective, it was a successful and informative meeting for both committees. It is worth noting that NI Water highlighted that they contribute to at least 10 of the actions of the Lough Neagh Action Plan, and that 2 of these were joint actions between DAERA and NI Water. And those are to deliver a communications plan, including an education campaign to build awareness and influence positive behavioural change on specific water topic areas, and subject to funding availability to seek to deliver on the Lough Neagh wastewater schemes as set out in the price control determination, with a focus on reducing nutrient loading, especially phosphorus and nitrogen. So members, I think that clearly demonstrates the need for our request. for that meeting, and any DAERA updates to us on the Loughney Action Plan, to include updates from NI Water moving forward on those particular issues. So, members, I felt it was very informative to hear from the Planning Statutory Consultee Forum, and particularly they have an internal project underway to do a deep dive into the planning portal IT system to determine where delays are arising from, and looking at performance across the entire planning system. They agreed that they would share what they could of this work with the committee. Also, it was positive to hear that they would have no objections to SES being part of the PSCF. So, members, have you any comments or actions you would wish to pursue on the back of that meeting? Gareth?
I just thought it was a useful chat. There were, sometimes they can appear to be the lesser spotted sort of varieties, and it was nice to have them all together in the same room and be able to put those concerns to them. And I suppose from the point of view that when one of the contributors drops the ball, it does affect the entire process at all. It requires everybody to be on time with their consultation responses to make economic progress right across the country. So it was useful to have that conversation.
I think there's and I'm sure you guys get this too in your inboxes when you get planning queries and you engage on it, perhaps with your local council, and that planning portal isn't up to date, because what has happened is there maybe has been a statutory consultee response, but it hasn't been uploaded onto the portal for a number of reasons. And one of the things, and it was a good point that you made, Gareth, and I thank you for it, because it hadn't occurred to me, but in terms of one of the things I think we could suggest going back is that the host or admin functions of the planning portal would indicate that if a statutory consultee does complete their assessment and sends it back to local council, that at least that is ticked, that the applicant can see that they've done their bit and it's with council to then assess and publish it on the portal. Because sometimes that's one of the frustrations. Sometimes the time, the consultee time hasn't been breached, but it looks like it has because it's not on the portal. The other thing that was useful, again, picked out was the SES bit, and there was, to be fair, there was a bit of a confirmation into their role as being advisory to the statutory consultees, but it seemed to me, again, that the relationship isn't necessarily as good as it could be. So there is possibly a clear. I think one of two actions I'd like to see is one, suggesting that the statutory consultees have the ability to indicate that they have completed their assessment and returned it to council, so we know where it is, our applicants know where it is. And secondly, that SES, we could indicate to them that they were discussed in the meeting and there was a suggestion that they may want to consider being part of that PCSF as indicated by the forum. Would members be content with those two at least?
Another one.
And yes, John?
Yeah, Chair, look, I understand. I think the reasons behind the emphasis on the planning issues that the committee has raised on numerous occasions, but separate to that, the SORPI issue is what we're going to have to keep a very close eye on as a committee. It's interdepartmental, of course, but it's one that we need to be updated on a regular basis to see if progress has been made. And
from both perspectives, I imagine, John, given that the SORPI will obviously is the agreement is there's negotiations at the moment to amend that, yeah. And from both perspectives, I imagine from DAERA and NI Water, and that's what we've indicated here. I suppose there is a need when we're looking at Loughney in terms of those stakeholders. We need to ensure that we have their feet to the table here. Michelle?
Just in relation to the issue of SORPI, when the questions were put to NI Water, it was clear that they did have concerns and they didn't feel that perhaps it was going to have the positive impact, I suppose, that we hoped that it would have in relation to the what's happening in Loughney. And I was just wondering, we may already have the responses, have we, in relation to the consultation? Because they did say that they had responded to the consultation from the department, but it would be interesting to know if it was possible actually to see what their response was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we can get that for the packs. Yeah, yeah, no, that's good. And to be fair, they did make a good indication of the challenges of everybody wants rid of it, including themselves, but it has to be workable too. Tom?
Chair, just on that, and with regards to the whole scrutiny of the planning and the planning situation and all, when I came out, when that meeting was over, a colleague sent me an email that he had got in response to he'd written about a planning application and where it was within the system. And just one wee paragraph, it says here, this consultation received on the 10th of February has been allocated to the relevant teams. Case officers are currently progressing planning back until October 2025, and this basis a response is anticipated within 36 weeks.
Oh,
So, we were there looking and we were raising the issues of the delays within planning, and here's clear evidence of it. The consultation responses have been received, but and obviously it's a matter for, that seems to be within the planning themselves. It's going to take them 36 weeks before they're even going to get looking at those consultation responses that came in. So there is a huge backlog within the planning system.
There is. Absolutely. I think we've a lot on our forward work programme at the moment, but it's certainly something we need to be very aware of, and we are in our constituencies in regard to that. Thank you for that, members. Are you happy enough, Clerk, with those points of action?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, members, thank you very much for that. Really appreciated your attendance at that meeting. I genuinely did think it was very useful. Okay, item number 2 then, members. I refer you to the packet page 6 to correspondence from Abercorn Estates inviting the committee to the Barons Court Estate in County Tyrone to see its operations, including a salmon fishery and anaerobic digestion. They would also like the opportunity to discuss the matters of concern and challenges it faces, including avian influenza and performance of the Forest Service. If you have any comments, are you content to be added to the list of potential visits?
Yeah.
Thank you. Item number 3, I refer you to the packet page 8 to the Office of Environmental Protection regarding its report on the Nutrient Action Programme Regulations 2019. The report will be published on the 30th of April, and the committee has been offered an informal meeting with the OEP's Chief Scientist, Robert MacDonald, on the afternoon of Wednesday the 29th or Thursday the 3rd of April. If neither of these dates suit, they have offered an online session at a convenient time. Any comments to make on that? I think we need to have an answer on that, because it's that's next week. That's just come in and it's short-ish notice. Obviously, it's a significant report.
Chair, I think they were trying to organise it at the time and date with the Minister before they gave us times. I think that's why it's such short notice. So, as far as I'm aware, he's meeting the Minister on the 28th.
Okay. I know we've got committee members that sit on the PAC, for instance, and other commitments, guys. We'll maybe send out options in terms of an email, and if you indicate on that, if it's possible, if you have availability in your diaries for either Wednesday afternoon next week or Thursday afternoon, and if not, we can then take the report anyway, because we're going to get the report and make our comments after we get the report, and that might work better with the short notice. Would you be content with that? Do you want to do that then? Yeah, we'll just do that. Okay. Thank you, members. Item number 4 then, I refer you to the packet page 9 to correspondence from the Department dated the 17th of April regarding the Pollution Prevention and Control PPC District Council's Charging Scheme 2026, whereby operators of PPC activities are required to pay a fee in line with the polluter pays key principle. The scheme is updated every year to bring the prices into line with the GDP deflator value set by the HM Treasury, and has been approved by the Natural Environment Policy Division. And the 2026 scheme is provided for the NI Assembly's information. If you have any comments, you can tend to note. Thank you, members. Item number 5. Members will recall the committee has previously discussed the issues raised by Bonds Glen Environmental Group regarding the reported destruction within the Sperrin area of outstanding natural beauty and the adjacent special area of conservation. We agreed to arrange an informal meeting with the group to discuss the matter further. That meeting has now been booked for Tuesday the 26th of May at 10:30 in room 30 in Parliament Buildings. Do you have any comments? Are you content to agree this date? And if you are, we will send out a diary invite to your boxes via email. Okay. Item number 6 then, members, I refer to page 83 of the table of papers to a request to brief the committee from QUB Centre for Advanced Sustainable Energy, otherwise known as CASE, on its 2023 paper titled Pathway to a Renewable Future. A copy of the report can be found at page 84 of the table of papers. It sets out recommendations toward developing what it describes as a practical solution to support agriculture and the rural economy, protect the environment and deliver tangible benefits for communities across Northern Ireland. CASE has offered to brief the committee, so I propose that we invite them to brief us at Balmoral in our short formal meeting, as it would tie in well to our informal engagement session at Balmoral with the public on AD. We will consider the draft questionnaire later on it with the formal work programme and discuss further at our AD event. Are members content with that approach? Thank you, members. I refer you to page 3 of table papers for the letter from Minister Muir dated the 21st of April regarding the publication of the 8th Rural Needs Annual Monitoring Report covering the period 1st of April 2024 to 31st of March 2025 on the 3rd of April 2026. The report is available through the link in the letter. Do you have any comments you can tend to note? Okay, item number 8 then, members, I refer to page 4 of the table of papers, the correspondence from ANIFPO dated 20th April regarding the unfortunate postponement of the briefing that had been scheduled for Explorers next week due to our need to focus on the Dilapidation Bill, given that we need to have the report by May the 15th. We are, of course, very aware of the significant challenges facing the fishing industry, and we will endeavour to reschedule the briefing as soon as possible. 25th of June is currently a possibility, and we are waiting a response from Explorers.
Chair, we've just had a response literally in the last few minutes or so that is a suitable date for Explorers, so
okay.
That's now set for that date. Okay.
Members content? Yep. Okay. But that's the date. We will alert ANIFPO of that. Okay, members. Item number 9. Last but not least, you will have seen from the order papers that John's Hunting with Dogs Members' Bill is to be introduced on the 27th of April. So I'm sure we would all hope that John would be in a position to brief us next week in some detail in advance of the second stage. And we'll maybe return to that item because it'll be easier to return to it when he's here. Okay? Okay. Thank you, members. We're going to just...
It's a big moment.
He missed his big moment, yes. I'm sure we'll not remind him of it. Okay, members, item number... I can see what you're... I can literally read your mind at a minute. Okay, item number 10, then I refer you to page 5 of table papers, the correspondence from the department dated the 22nd of April regarding the Shaping Sustainable Places Programme Consultation Report. A copy of the report starts at page 7 of table papers. The report has been prepared by the Department for Communities as the lead department and quality reviewed by officials from the DAERA and the Department of Infrastructure, and is due to be published next Thursday, 30th of April. Members will recall we previously agreed to a concurrent meeting with the Committee for Communities and the Committee for Infrastructure at 10 a.m. on Thursday the 21st of May before our main meeting to receive an update on the SSP programme. Do you have any comments, or are you content to note the report at present? Thank you, members. Agenda item 4 then is the minutes for the meeting on the 16th of April. Refer to the draft minutes from our meeting dated that day, starting on page 20 of your pack. If any comments, or are you content that I would sign those and they would be published on the website? Okay. Thank you, members. Item number 5 then is matters arising. Number 1, I refer you to page 39 of your pack, the response from the UK Environment Agency dated the 17th of April in response to our request for clarification on updates to the Environment Agency H4 odour guidance. Members will recall on the 5th of March we considered correspondence from DAERA regarding NIEA review of odour management and discussed the implications of NIEA not adopting the new UKEA guidance because it no longer incorporates odour modelling or the FIDOL methodology. The response states that the UKEA considers odour pollution modelling to have limitations and that the updated guidance referred to FIDOL related factors were appropriate but within this subject-specific context, but supported by what the UKEA considers to be clearer, stronger methodologies. They still seem to be wrestling over that. So any comments? Are you content to note at this stage? That's something they're obviously still trying to work through. Okay, members, I refer you to item number 2 is on page 47 of your pack, to a response from the department dated the 17th of April in response to our request for information on potential environmental health issues at regen facilities. Members will recall on the 19th of March we considered items of copied correspondence from an individual regarding 3 environmental information regulation cases relating to the regen group sites. Although the committee does not engage in individual cases, we recognise there may be a broader environmental health and public safety concern. In relation to the NIEA regulations of Regen 6 authorised facilities, DAERA advises that NIEA have found no compliance issues to date. The department states each authorisation has a specific condition relating to fire risk management, which requires the operator to have in place a fire action plan, and NIEA also provides materials to assist waste operators in understanding and identifying measures to reduce fire risk. In relation to the regen site at Warren Point, the NIEA has chaired several multi-agency meetings, most recently in November 2025, attended by Newry and Mourne District Council, the Public Health Agency, the Health and Safety Executive and the Northern Ireland Fire and Rescue Service. No significant issues of concern were raised, but NIEA will keep the matter under review. In relation to responses to environmental information requests, the department states that challenges remain due to the significant increase in complexity in the number of internal review requests received since 2023. However, NIEA has taken steps to enhance processes and monitoring to improve response times and expects a future improvement compliance level performance. Do members have any comments that they want to make? Content to note?
Yeah, just I needed to read it in detail again, but have they said what actions they've actually taken? Because I think what NIEA's response is very different to those who are actually on the ground in Warren Point.
I suppose what would be interesting is the most significant action, I think, is the multi-agency meetings that they've held. Maybe if there's multi-agency meetings, would those people on the ground be at those? I mean, that's to be one thing to be reasonably fair about is it seems to me that all of the agencies that would be affected have been included. And then if the report is indicative of each of their reports, that tells one story, but the people on the ground are obviously perhaps experiencing something different.
Very different,
so it
yeah.
might be reasonable maybe just to try and assess if the multi-agency meetings included an invite to the interested bodies, and I would suspect that should have been the case. To build up public confidence, wouldn't it? Yeah, is that okay?
100%.
We'll try and find that out, okay.
Very good, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you for that. Okay, item number 3 then, members. The Assembly debate of the draft Climate Change Just Transition Commission regulations Northern 2026 is now in the order paper for Monday the 27th of April. On the 12th of March we agreed that the draft regulations could proceed to the Assembly for debate, and the Department advises there has been no changes to policy or the content since we considered the SL1. The relevant ESR report has not drawn it to the attention of the Assembly. Do you have any comments? And my speech at the debate on Monday will reflect the committee's views. Content? Okay, members, thank you. Agenda item 6, Areas of Natural Constraint Payments Bill. As members are aware, the committee stage started on Tuesday the 24th of March, and last week we agreed the motion to extend the committee stage to the 22nd of January to allow scope to deal with several other bills in parallel as necessary. I refer you to the pack starting at page 53 to as a copy of the draft Citizen Space Survey questions for our call for evidence. So members, are you content with the questions as drafted? Michelle?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I suppose given the fact that probably the majority of speakers on the day raised issues in relation to how this was going to be financed, I do think that there should be a question in this survey, because I think otherwise it can be quite misleading. In fact, I could probably respond positively to most of those questions if they were put to me, but I suppose the reality of this is the fact that there is no finance for this, and what this does put in train is then ties a department to make payments out of its current budget. So I would prefer that we reflect some of that in at least 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah, I'm content with that. In terms of formulating a question in regard to that, I think we'd need to see it and obviously have it agreed. So if we're going to add additional questions, which is right and appropriate, by the way, then we will come back to that, but we do need to get it agreed. And I referenced the fact that we'd be in support, but we do need to do some more work around the financial probity of it and so on, and where we identify that money. So I think that's reasonable. You've already declared an interest in this, Declan, so feel free to pitch in at any stage, yeah.
Maybe Janice could come back with suggestions for that, please.
Yeah. And I'd like to do this once, guys, if that's okay. So just take this opportunity, having read through, if you've any other concerns with the questions, so that when we come back, what we're looking at is just the additionality. So if you want to take literally another couple of minutes, I know you will have read through them, but just to acquaint yourselves again with that. It's on page 54.
Sure, they can email me questions.
Yeah.
Email me anything else and I can bring back additional.
Yeah, what I want to do is come back week after week. I think that one that Michelle's raised is very appropriate, because if we can, if there's a way of identifying that, I think that would ease most people's concerns with the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, members content then?
No.
Thanks for that. Okay then, we'll get a question formulated around that, and then if you have any other questions that, please email the team in, and so that we have a final iteration to go for next week.
Sorry, Michelle, could I just say, you referred to wanting it to be reflected in a couple of the questions?
Yeah, I'm happy to discuss after.
Yeah, or send me through an email. Yes, thank you.
Okay, members. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, agenda item 15 then is the Dilapidation bill. And that is building control and NILGA responses. So members, last week you will recall we agreed to request building control NILGA to provide the committee with a paper outlining more detailed specifics of its concerns and its proposed amendments on a clause-by-clause basis. That response has now been received and has also been provided to officials who will now respond to the amendment requests. Following that, we will then go into a closed session to consider our report or otherwise to the BCNI, NILGA requests and other clauses. So members, I refer you to table papers, to the clerk's memo, proposed clause amendments by NILGA and Solace, which are at page 59 in table papers, isn't that right? Yeah. The Clerk's memo, proposed amendments, page 62. The response from Nil Gonzalez at page 64. The Council submissions on committee clause by clause, page 66, and the Department's response to Nilga's proposed amendments at page 75. So I'm now going to invite Simon and Mark to the table to talk us through the proposed amendments by Nilga, so that we are clear about the proposals, and if the Department is willing to take any of these forward, that will leave us in a much better position for our closed session discussions. So Simon and Mark, thank you for coming and attending again, and please feel free to begin your brief to the committee on those points. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Yes, you've referenced there, of course, the report that has been received from NILGA, which the committee requested very helpfully, so we'd like to thank the committee for doing that. It's brought a clear focus onto any of the issues that need to be addressed. Just by way of correction, the report refers to the draft Dilapidations bill, and its title Dilapidations, this issue's cropped up before, is actually something slightly different. It's a specific area of law that relates to breaches of lease obligations. So just wanted to be clear on that. It's obviously the Dilapidation bill. It's not just the case that's plural, it's a very different thing. If the committee's happy, I'll go through each of the recommendations from the NILGA report and just state the Department's response. Thank you. So in relation to the first three recommendations, relating to clauses 1.1, 2.2c and 7.1. The Department will consider these proposed amendments further and revert to committee. Bearing in mind, obviously, we only received the NILGA report yesterday, so we need a little bit more time on those first three recommendations. We are familiar with the wording referenced in the Scottish legislation. That's the Building Scotland Act 2003, section 29, we believe, where the danger is linked specifically to persons or the public generally, or to adjacent buildings or places. So these first three recommendations are all very minor as far as we can see, and as I say, we will certainly revert to committee on those once we've had time to consider them further. Recommendation 4 references a new clause after 7.2 to cover owner unknown situations. And it asks for a specific reference to 24.2e of the Interpretation Act. This is actually already provided for under clause 21.7 of the bill, the Interpretation Act, and that particular section are referenced already. Recommendation 5 in respect of clause 10.4. This relates to the terminology like giving notification or giving notice. It also refers to serve notice. These are different from serving a notice. A notice is specifically referring to the notices named in the bill, so a maintenance notice, dilapidation notice, dangerous structures notice and defective premises notice. So the wording here is fine. It already draws the distinction between give notice or serve a notice, and therefore that knocks on to the following two recommendations from NILGA, recommendations 6 and 7. They essentially both ask for the same thing to be done. It's to state that under clause 10, or clause 10 is excluded from clause 22.1, which is appeals. The point being here is that the grounds for appeal under clause 10.8 are limited. The bill states the circumstances under which an appeal can be made, and the appeal is only permitted against the actual works. There isn't appeal against a notice under 10.8, and that is why clause 22.1 does not apply in the case of emergency provisions, because 22.1 specifically talks about appealing against a notice, whereas 10.8 there is no notice as such involved, therefore 22.1 is not applicable. So that addresses both recommendations 6 and 7. Recommendation 8 relates to clause 10.6, and again that's provided for under 21.7 in the bill. That's the reference to 24.2e of the Interpretation Act. Recommendation 9 is in relation to clause 12.4. This is relating to cost recovery in respect of fencing or security to protect the public under emergency action. But 12.4 already provides for what NILGA is asking for, because the costs only become non-recoverable from the point at which the danger is removed, and that's explicit in the bill. Clause 10 isn't an amendment as such. The NILGA has said the Department must provide councils with clarification on the processes around securing court orders and charges on land to ensure they are workable in reality. We have sought advice on this, and we understand councils do already have very similar powers under other existing provisions. Article 16.1 of the Waste and Contaminated Land Order and Article 33 of the Clean Air Order already refer to charges, and the subsequent powers around the Conveyancing Act 1881, which members will be familiar with in the Act. So our understanding is the Council's legal advisors should be able to provide more insight for council officials as to how these operate in practice. And the final point, recommendation 11, proposed amendments to clauses 18 and 24. NILGA has asked for a specific reference to land and buildings as opposed to just land, but this is already provided for under Section 45 of the Interpretation Act 1954, which makes it quite clear that land includes buildings and other structures. So the Department is quite happy that there are no substantial amendments required following NILGA's response, and we will come back to the committee on recommendations 1 through to 3 very shortly. That's everything, Chair.
Okay. In terms of the committee's time, we're obviously, as I said, the committee running out of road, and and it's really imperative that we get that information as quickly as possible to allow us to complete our deliberations and scrutiny of this to see whether the committee feels that it is satisfied, needs to amend, or so it's really important that we get to that point. So in regards to that, just have you made any effective response to NILGA or Building Control in regard to this, or are they still in a position of waiting a substantive reply, or would they be broadly satisfied in your assessment of what communications you've had?
Okay, so quite a number of these points would have been addressed verbally in our various meetings that we've had with NILGA and Building Control officials. Certainly recommendations 9 and recommendations 6 and 7 have been...
Just so you know, Simon, they're slightly out of kilter with our numbering of
Chair, this is the clerk's memo summarising it, so the recommendation...
Yeah.
I refer to the clauses then.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, yeah.
No problem. So in relation to adding to clause 22.1 and amending clause 10.8, that would have been addressed in writing to NILGA on the 9th of April. And in relation to amending 12.4, clause 12.4, that was more recently advised in writing on the 17th of April. The other issues, by and large, will have been addressed verbally, but we haven't officially gone back in writing to NILGA in response to yesterday's paper.
Okay, appreciate it. Okay, members, in your hands in terms of any questions, queries, or anything that you would feel would be useful to...
Just from your perspective, what does going back look like, in real terms to NILGA? How do you see it? Is it an email or a face-to-face or discussion?
Happy to provide written confirmation of the Department's preferred approach to dealing with those. Obviously, this will feature in your committee report as well. And we'll pick it up following that again with the Minister, but at an official level we'll be happy to share our responses in writing with NILGA, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Any other points of clarity or query at this stage, guys? Mark and Tim, you guys will remain sort of available to us, obviously, as we move into a closed session to discuss this further as a committee, and then we'll perhaps bring you back in. Is that okay?
Absolutely, yeah, we'll go and get a cup of tea.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, members, we're going to continue to move towards making decisions on our agreement or otherwise with each clause, and obviously that was a little bit of up-to-date information in regard to some of the pressures that we will still face in receiving that clarity. So if we wish to propose any amendments, we'll be requesting now that we move into closed session for that discussion. Thank you, members.
Committee Room 21. Sound. 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 Committee Room 21. Sound.
Members, we are now back in public session, and can we bring the bill officials back in to address a number of queries discussed in closed session? The clerk will summarise the discussions from the closed session when our bill officials get comfortable. So, welcome back, Simon and Mark. For any questions and queries, and hopefully we've moved a few steps forward, gentlemen. The question and queries come from obviously our previous closed session that we had with regard to our bill officials.
I think it's these things here, unless you want to read these. Do you, Chair, sorry. We don't want them to be reading out the informal, because what clauses we don't
No.
to yet.
No,
so
no, no.
Just to go through those few points there.
Yeah, that's all I want to do, yeah.
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 Okay. Right. Oh yeah, that, okay. That one, that. Okay. And that's all.
Because they're informal, so
Yeah.
there's no point in
No, because that's me, we can't go through everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, in closed session, there were a few queries for the officials, just that sort of give a timeline of really when we'll be able to see sight of the amendments that have been proposed already, and whether we will receive those, or the committee will receive those before the end of its committee stage. There was also a query over the commencement of the clauses. It states that 29, 30 and 31 will all commence at the same time, but there was a query of whether all the other clauses will commence at the same time or whether these will come into effect at different timelines. Oh yeah, we had asked for, in your response on the 17th of April regarding the maintenance notices and the multiple maintenance notices, you had said that you had gone back for further advice as to whether each subsequent maintenance notice carries with it the option to discharge liability for conviction through a fresh fixed penalty. Our committee are wondering if there's been any response received in relation to this.
Okay, happy enough to. Thank you very much. On the amendments timeline, we will need to consider that ourselves initially, and then we'll need to determine if we need to get some further advice on that. To that extent, if we need a bit further advice, that will take slightly longer. If we don't require the advice, then we could potentially have that closed off next week. If it's a case of waiting for the advice, we might be able to get an extra 1 to 2 weeks for that. On the commencement of clauses, the reason for the different potential timescales is to ensure that we have everything lined up and our ducks in a row in terms of having the draft statutory guidance ready and the fees regulations, so that they can all come into force immediately after the bill is in receipt of royal assent. So we want to be able to bring everything in all at the same time so that there's no gaps there and everything dovetails. On the maintenance notices issue, yes, we did get advice back on that particular issue around fixed penalty notices. Our expectation is that we will propose an amendment to enable the fixed penalty to discharge liability for conviction up to the day on which the penalty is paid. And that would then leave council still with the option to pursue matters further where there has been non-compliance, continued non-compliance with the maintenance notice if it continues to be in breach.
Okay, happy enough, Linda, in regard to that? Yeah. Members, any other queries for the departmental team? Just like I know you said 2 weeks, but that would be a critical point for this committee. We are making reasonable progress at this stage now, so in our closed session there, in terms of, we're up to about clause 20 now. That's not to say that we're absolutely through that perfectly, because there's obviously a couple of clauses in there that require further clarification in regard, but we're well mobile now in terms of our deliberations in this, so part of that responsibility rests with you guys, ensuring that we have that information coming back. So members, if there's nothing else for the departmental officials at this stage, are you content in terms of the communication you're getting from the committee? And that okay, we're satisfied then? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for your time today.
Could we go back to Chair's business and John's bill before we do anything else? So we don't,
members, I'm going to adjust the agenda items here. John nearly missed his big moment, so we're going to move back. What number is that? Number?
Chair's business.
Okay, this was in Chair's business. So, members, you'll have seen from your order papers that John's hunting with dog members bill is to be introduced on the 27th of April. John, I hope you would be able to provide next week, maybe provide us with some detail in advance of the second stage, but I just want to give you this opportunity to say a few words if you wouldn't mind.
Absolutely. You want a few words now? Or
yeah, if you don't mind giving a bit of a heads up and then you can speak.
The bill has been scheduled for Monday. At the times I saw initially were 17:55, I think. And that's subject to change, of course, depending on the Assembly schedule. But first reading, members will know, is simply a formality, and then we will look at it in more detail. The bill was submitted a number of weeks ago and then resubmitted with a couple of minor alterations following consultations with parties. I'm happy to give more information on that next week. Perhaps we'll have more formal session on it. The bill is intended to ban the hunting of wild mammals with dogs where dogs are used with kill, and that was purely for leisure pursuits and for no other reason. And there will be exemptions, of course, to cover livestock, biodiversity and a number of other matters. Doesn't apply, for example, to rats or mice, but I'm happy to give more detail if that gives some basis on which members can structure questions next week. I should probably repeat as well here that the initial outreach to political parties still stands, and I'm more than happy to engage. And also, as indicated in the initial correspondence, if anybody wants to see a copy, get in touch and we can furnish them with that before next week.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions at this stage, members? Nope. Okay, thank you, John. Look forward to engaging in that. Okay.
Just get agreement then that we take evidence from John next
Yeah, are you happy then with going to take evidence from John next week on the bill's introduction? Yep.
If he buys lunch.
Agreed. Agreed. Okay. Now, agenda item 9, then, members, Departmental Written Briefing Consultation in the Draft Fisheries Management Plan, the FMP for non-quota shellfish in Northern Ireland. Members, starting at page 502 of the pack, I refer you to the Departmental Written Briefing providing an update on the 12-week consultation commencing on the 27th of April. Members, the draft FMP in action with the Environmental Improvement Plan has been developed in accordance with the Fisheries Act 2020 to set out policies designed to restore one or more stocks of sea fish to or maintain them at sustainable levels. The species within scope include brown crab, velvet crab, lobster, king scallop and queen scallop. Subject to the outcome of the consultation, DAERA intends to publish the final FMP by the end of December 2026. Any questions or you content to note at this stage? Content to note. Thank you, members. Agenda item 10 is correspondence. There is not too much correspondence this week, so I'm going to run through each of them and highlight a few items, members. So on page 505 of the pack, correspondence dated the 16th of April has been copied into between the chair of the House of Lords, the Northern Scrutiny Committee and DAERA regarding the simplification and strengthening of food and feed safety requirements. If you have any comments, you can tend to note. Members are referred to page 508 of the pack. The 2 items of correspondence from Glenoak Fisheries relating to responses to queries it has raised with the Department regarding zebra mussel sampling report for Loch and Shoalin Fisheries, Kilray, and the impact on proposed fish movement permits. You will see from the correspondence that John has been involved. John, do you have any comments to make on this matter?
I do, Chair. I'll explain first of all, though, and I don't think it's demonstrated there in the correspondence. If colleagues here on the committee have not already been contacted, at least some of the members here will have party colleagues, either at Westminster level or Assembly level, who will have been contacted by this constituent of mine as well. The crux of this is that this is a very serious matter. There are many weeks of to and fro for this constituent and business owner and someone who operates obviously within the aquaculture sector that we have tried to engage with and help clarify matters for before. In fact, that this person was with committee assisting in presentations before for aquaculture, and the backdrop to all of this is, to put it in a very succinct way, time runs out on these matters. Movement of fish is massively restricted, if possible at all, when temperatures rise. So everyone, without pointing fingers, everyone involved in this process, and every recipient of every application and every piece of correspondence will be fully aware that with the change in the seasons and the rise in the temperatures, this person will be running out of time. So it's a matter of utmost urgency, and I sincerely hope progress can be made in coming days.
Yeah, there are a number of agencies involved in this sort of the vetting, and it is literally vetting of for the protection against the zebra mussel. But at the same time, there is an answer, and we need those agencies to maybe from the committee's perspective, right back just to the department and just ensure the identification of those agencies and to receive assurance that they're all working at the rate that they should, because that, I would imagine that date is approaching very, very soon. Cut-off date?
Absolutely could.
If we're not
it literally is weather dependent. Should have said there an approach has been made to the Minister for a meeting. I imagine that will involve more than myself. I'm perfectly happy with that in terms of local representatives. But there's no firm date for that yet, and can't.
I register my interest in that one, John, from my perspective, if it's possible. Then that meeting with the Minister, if you I would be interested in that one. Yeah,
absolutely. Okay. And I think maybe some clarification around the rationale for those timelines is perhaps in order, and then any actions taken by the department, including any confirmed meeting with the Minister.
Thank you. Anything else on that one, members? Content? Okay. I refer to page 517 of the packed correspondence from the Hillside Trout Fishery to the Minister regarding restrictions of live trout in Northern Ireland, the fact that it is placed upon farms and fisheries. It is calling for a review of the current regulatory framework to achieving a more balanced approach to safeguards and environmental standards, while also enable fisheries and farms to operate effectively. I think that very much speaks to the last item as well. Next item is 518 of your pack, of correspondence from an individual to the Minister. The committee has been copied into it. Concerns a request for clarification on ministerial engagement and regulatory independence relating to the issue of regulatory position statement, RPS, permitting the temporary storage of residual waste at Regen's Derry Boy Road, DBR site in Newry. Do you have any comments? Content to note? Thank you, members. Last couple then, referring to page 553 of the pack, to the 63rd ESR report dated 20th April, which refers to the draft SR, the Climate Change Just Transition Commission regulations, which has not been drawn to attention of the Assembly. Are you content to note? 62nd? 63rd. Did it really? I'm sure it's not your ears. 10.7 members are referred to page 77 of the table papers to notification from Rural Action to the launch of the Maximising Community Space programme to develop more inclusive, welcoming and sustainable shared spaces in the Lochshore Marina Centre in Ballyronan on Wednesday 29th of April. Have you any comments? You can tend to note. Okay, it's in your packs there, guys, page 77. Okay, the Forward Work Programme, members, is a draft programme and it's the page 79 of the table paper, so you can tend that it's published. Okay, members, regarding the Balmoral show, we agreed earlier to invite QUB Case to brief us there. In connection to our informal engagement anaerobic digestion survey for Balmoral, you will find a draft survey questionnaire and table papers at page 119. Are you content with the questionnaire? If so, the clerk will provide it to the engagement team and it will run throughout the Balmoral via the interactive screens in the assembly tent, and we will engage with the public in the tent using the survey as a starting point for our AD stakeholder event in June. Regarding the AD stakeholder...
Sorry, I can just pause you there. Are they content with the questionnaire? I did work with Reyes on it. So.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put the question, guys, are you content with the questionnaire as it's published in your papers? Yep. Thank you. Regarding the AD stakeholder event, as discussed last week, given that we have a number of members unavailable on a Thursday afternoon, which is when we held our NAP event, I am proposing a Wednesday afternoon or an early Thursday evening in June at the Stormont Hotel, the format being similar to the NAP event. The clerk has been working with engagement and there is a very limited availability in the Long Gallery, so we will discuss dates available in the Stormont Hotel if that's okay. For that event then, engagement have sent the following dates in June for us to consider in the Stormont Hotel ballroom. Bedroom. Yeah, no, we're expecting a few more to attend, so it'll be a bigger room.
Everybody's head went up at the same time there, did you?
I would say your face looks like it's went a wee bit red, but it was red when it came in. I think the sun's got to you. Yeah. No. Okay, it's definitely, just for clarification, it's going to be in the bottom. Okay.
On the record.
It's on the record. Okay. That's where we held our NAP event and it was very successful. So Wednesday the 3rd of June is free from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Thursday the 4th is early evening and it's available from 5 p.m.
We can do that now.
Yeah, and we're going to explore that. So that's really the two dates that we're looking at, members. Wednesday the 3rd of June from 11 a.m. and then Thursday the 4th in the early evening, which is the 5th. So I know that impacts particularly on PAC, maybe on the Thursday. If those members want to have a look at that, or the Wednesday the 3rd, starting at 11. So what we could do, members, if you want to look at your diaries.
Until the 4th?
So the 4th would be 5 p.m. in the evening.
5 p.m.
On the Thursday, that's a Thursday evening, or...
But that may impact on
PAC
members and Justice. Yeah.
PAC on that day, Daniel?
On every day.
On every week, is it every Thursday? Okay.
Can you let me know?
So would you prefer a Wednesday morning, 11?
What are you thinking Thursday? So?
Sorry?
What time on a Thursday?
5 o'clock, so it would be after PAC.
No, it'll definitely drag on after 5 o'clock.
So, Wednesday?
Well, do you know what? It could be finished, the Justice, you just don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. We'll go for Wednesday the 3rd for comfort.
Yeah, means...
I
know, yeah.
It will be a good event. We'll also be armed with, if it's been analysed, the data from the Balmoral engagement event too. And we'll have had our discussions with Case, so it'll bring us to a nice pinch point with that point of interest.
I actually already had this in the diary for the Wednesday.
Did you? Oh, very good.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked or how that happened.
You're clairvoyant.
There you go. It's 3 o'clock you're thinking, yeah.
So would that make it easier for members, do you think?
Sorry, it's the time that the ballroom is free is from 11 to 3, but the event would likely last 2 hours. So you just need to decide if you want to chair, if you want to start at 11
or 12
later.
or 1. I'm in your hands. I can do both.
11.
I intend doing both, but I could do both.
11.
11 on the Wednesday, John?
If it's Wednesday, I would prefer the earlier session, 11.
11.
I would probably ultimately prefer the Thursday overall.
Ultimately, if you could. Daniel?
I would, well, if it's Wednesday, it'll be remote.
Can't do remote for the event.
Stakeholder.
It's a stakeholder event.
Of course, sorry. So it'll be Thursday.
Thursday. Okay.
We'll
Thomas?
just have to speed up the
Thursday?
Thursday would be better for me now.
Gareth?
It'd be better for me, but I can do Wednesday. Please.
Thursday suits you better? And Michelle?
It depends on the Thursday because I would normally have a meeting sort of from about 4:30 on a Thursday. So it depends whether it falls on that. So I may or may not be able to make it.
We have one, two. It's not really hung because I can do both. Thursday looks preferable. Thursday suit you then to stay up. You'll be up here anyway.
Wednesday.
From about 5 onwards.
Wednesday.
That's okay for me.
For 2 hours,
Yeah, that's okay. I don't know about the rest of them, but
Okay. It's useful to get as many members of the committee there as possible. It's not obviously mandatory, but so what we'll do is, if we don't mind, we'll pop out a wee option, like a wee survey monkey type thing or whatever for those 2 dates and times, and then whatever that turns out at, then members, that's what we'll go for next week, and we'll all be able to pop that in our diary then, in the populates.
Or can I throw out another option?
It's the options so far have been based on availability of non-gallery and
yeah, no, it was only if we had our committee on a Tuesday and then moved and had that engagement event on during our committee time on the Thursday.
I think that's actually a good idea.
during the committee time on a
Thursday. That's just another option. It's not,
Yeah.
I'm not really saying.
Okay. Chair, I can go back to engagement and see.
Well, the only thing is that we have a number of concurrent, with another 2 concurrent meetings on Tuesday in our diaries for
Chair,
infrastructure.
there's
and
one. I think there's only one now. With communities and infrastructure in May.
We were doing one on the fuel stuff that talked about last week.
I don't think that's arranged
Informal?
yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
If it's an informal one,
sorry,
anyone?
there's another informal on the 26th of May,
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Well,
With
tell you what,
Barnes Glen.
we'll look at that as a backup. We'll pop the other one out first of all to see the availability for those 2, but we'll look at that as well. But we'll look at our forward work plan, see if that is an option, because that's a good idea as well. Okay, members?
Yep.
Yeah, Thursday, because it's already programmed in for people. Okay. All right, members, thank you very much for that indulgence. So it's the ballroom. Okay. Any other business? Okay, date and time and place of next meeting is 10 a.m. Thursday the 30th of April in Parliament Buildings. Now, members, don't be running off. Meeting is now adjourned, but we're now going to go into an informal planning session and be briefed by Ray's on the opportunities and challenges of aid.
Committee Room 21. Sound. 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 Committee Room 21. Sound.